That's the English Beat. Yeah, we'll give them some applause there. That's good. English Beat. Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley Student Station. Good morning, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. Thanks for tuning in on Friday morning. It is April 18th, 12:04. Well, it's the afternoon, I guess. So thank you. Hopefully, you had a good morning. We got a great bunch of music coming up. Got picked out for you. That was a song by the English Beat, or I guess they're known as the English Beat in the United States. In England, they're called The Beat. It's a song called I Confess. It's been on repeat on my playlist lately because I heard a commentator, one of the content creators on YouTube that I watch, mention the song. And boy, it's I mean, look, the English Beat was formed in 1978, so they've been doing it almost 50 years now, and they're touring. As a matter of fact, they've got tour dates coming up in largely in California. Also, it looks like New York, New Jersey. But they've got one date in the United Kingdom on May 17th, but then lots of California dates. So, so they're still doing it. A little bit of a ska, new wave, new. I don't know. What would we call that? You know, it's certainly got and they've got that really cool. With their first single, they did a cover of Smokey Robinson and the Miracles' "Tears of a Clown" in a reggae kind of beat. There, it was really cool. But yeah, been around since 1978, still doing it, still doing it. Yeah, if you could do it, the lyrics. The interesting changes in the vocals, really good. But the lyrics where he says, I confess I've ruined 3 lives. I didn't care until I found out that one of them was mine. Ooh, that's deep, right? That's deep. Yeah. This. Yeah, I mean, good morning. Good morning. This is DJ Doc V. I'll be with you here until 1 o'clock. It's a beautiful 86 degrees in the upper Rio Grande Valley. Some cloudy skies. We're looking at a high today, probably in the 90s. Let's look at the weather here. It doesn't have it as far as let's see. So 86 degrees currently, and it looks like we're looking for a high of 89 sometime this afternoon, maybe as high as 90. But the next few days, looks like some wind picking up. We get some chance of rain starting on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, it looks like, Monday and Tuesday, it looks like we got some rain in the forecast, some thunderstorms. But 90 today, 90 tomorrow, 87 degrees on Sunday. So a great weekend to get out and do some stuff. Our sports teams are on the road, so not a lot of stuff going on campus. But next weekend, the baseball team is welcoming, let's see who they're welcoming, McNeese University. I think they're from Louisiana. And also women's soccer will have a game here in Edinburgh next weekend. Next weekend, our men's and women's track and field, they're up in Houston at Rice for the J. Fred Duckett Twilight competition. And it looks like we've got some golf going on this weekend, some women's tennis. But next weekend, remember, you can get into baseball games for free with your student ID. And it's a great venue to see a baseball game. So construction's still going on there. Looks like maybe that road between the baseball stadium and the new football will be open eventually, I hope, because that's the road I used to use to get around the light at Sugar and Junior. Well, it's not all about me, I guess. Some other great music picked out for you we'll be hearing later, including a double shot of Nirvana and a little soul coughing coming up in the next set. So let's get back to the music right now. Since we did a 80s tune with the English Beat, let's do another 80s tune. This one is Flock of Seagulls. That's a band called Soul Coughing. I would say they're pretty popular here on Office Hours. We played them before. I discovered them back in the 90s, living in Minneapolis, and on the Rev 105 station that was unfortunately not long for this earth. They ended up folding, unfortunately. But I got to see them at Cedar Fest over down by U of M campus when they played. And they put out a couple, 3 albums, and then M. Doty, the main guy, went off to kind of be a solo artist doing spoken word stuff. And but I've got some good news, Soul Coughing fans, especially if you live in Austin. Tomorrow night at the Moody Theater, ACL Live, Soul Coughing, playing the songs of Soul Coughing again. All four original members, Mark Degley Antoni, Mike Doty, Yuval Gabe, and Sebastian Steinberg, returning for the first time in 25 years back on the stage. I know they've been out of it. Uh, every creative person knows. Sometimes you just go through, you do things with people, and it only lasts a certain amount of time, and then the excitement fizzles out. You move on to other things. But it's so great to see them back touring. Hopefully, this won't be their last tour ever. I would like to see them, but I can't make it up to Austin tomorrow night, unfortunately. So, but if you're heading to Austin, the ACL Moody Theater is a fantastic venue. In fact, last year I saw They Might Be Giants at the ACL Theater up in Austin. So, if you happen to be in Austin tomorrow night, check out Soul Coughing. Great band. Very weird, unique. It's hard to really put them in a particular genre, in my opinion. But that was a song called Super Bon Bon. Before that, you heard XTC with Dear God, and we started that set off with Flock of Seagulls and Space Age Love Song. And we had Black Hole Sun in there too, some Soundgarden. Wouldn't want to leave them out. That was right before Super Bon Bon, Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. So a little bit of Seattle sound there. We got some more Seattle sound coming up after This Day in History that we do every week on office hours. And on this day in 1806 at 5:13 a.m., an earthquake estimated at close to 8.0 on the Richter scale strikes San Francisco, California, killing an estimated 3,000 people as it topples numerous buildings. The quake was caused by a slip of the San Andreas Fault over a segment about 275 miles long, and shockwaves could be felt from southern Oregon down to Los Angeles. San Francisco's brick buildings and wooden Victorian structures were especially devastated. Fires immediately broke out, and because broken water mains prevented firefighters from stopping them, firestorms soon developed citywide. At 7 a.m., U.S. Army troops from Fort Mason reported to the Hall of Justice, and San Francisco Mayor E.E. Schmitz called for the enforcement of a dusk-to-dawn curfew and authorized soldiers to shoot to kill anyone found looting. Meanwhile, in the face of significant aftershocks, firefighters and U.S. troops fought desperately to control the ongoing fire, often dynamiting whole city blocks to create firewalls. On April 20th, several thousands of refugees trapped by the massive fire were evacuated from the foot of Van Ness Avenue. The Army would eventually house 20,000 refugees in more than 20 military-style tent camps across the city. By April 23rd, most fires were extinguished and authorities commenced the task of rebuilding the devastated metropolis. It was estimated that some 3,000 people died as a result of the Great San Francisco earthquake and the devastating fires it inflicted upon the city. Almost 30,000 buildings were destroyed, including most of the city's homes and nearly all the central business district. Also on this day in history, back in 1775, Paul Revere and John Dawes warn of the British attack. On April 18, 1775, British troops march out of Boston on a mission to confiscate the American arsenal at Concord and to capture Patriot leaders Samuel Adams. Where are they? Samuel Adams and John Hancock, known to be hiding in Lexington, so Lexington and Concord. These are basically the first shots of the Revolutionary War. As the British departed, Boston Patriots Paul Revere and William Dawes set out on horseback from the city to warn Adams and Hancock and rouse the Minutemen. By 1775, tensions between the American colonies and the British government had approached the breaking point, especially in Massachusetts, where Patriot leaders formed a shadow revolutionary government and trained militias to prepare for armed conflict with the British troops occupying Boston. It's always interesting to think about the fact that the United States being the superpower that it is in the 21st century, that really we were farmers with pitchforks and torches and a few guns around that time, going up against essentially the world's superpower of the day, being the British Empire. No one really thought we were going to win, and most people thought we were going to get our butt kicked, but We were able to break away and form our own country. On this day in 1942, the Doolittle raid over Tokyo occurred, with 16 American B 25 bombers launched from the aircraft carrier USS Hornet about 650 miles east of Japan. Also on this day in 1983, Joan Benoit wins the Boston Marathon, besting women's record by almost 3 minutes, with a time of 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 43 seconds. And finally, in 2012, Dick Clark, host of American Bandstand and New Year's Rockin' Eve, dies. He was a TV personality and best known for hosting American Bandstand. It's such a 70s show, too. If you get a chance to see a YouTube recording of American Bandstand, I would encourage you to do that. It's really interesting especially comparing it to today's musical programming. 88 degrees in the upper Rio Grande Valley with partly cloudy skies. We're expecting wind and a high today of 90 with a low overnight of 72. And the next few days here in the Rio Grande Valley, we're looking at 90 degrees tomorrow as a high with some higher winds. Sunday, a high of 87. Monday, 87 and a chance for thunderstorms. And then Tuesday, 89 degrees as a high and a 37% chance of thunderstorms. Right now, let's get back to the music. We can't go too long without some music. Here, we talked about that Seattle sound, and I promised you a double shot of Nirvana. Let's start that off with Heart-Shaped Box, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. So I guess it's a little bit of a double shot of Daft Punk, because right before that we heard One More Time by Daft Punk. And we started off that set with another double shot, this time of Nirvana, a little Seattle sound, starting off with Heart-Shaped Box, followed by Something in the Way, which was the MTV Unplugged version of that. Good morning, Vaqueros. 12:52 on Friday, April 18th. Easter Sunday coming up this weekend. Hopefully people are getting together with family, having a good time, celebrating the holiday. I think there's no classes today because of Good Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But every Friday is good, isn't it? I mean, it's the end of the work week. Come on, how could it not be good? As we do every week on office hours, got a poem picked out for you, this time from Pulse Magazine. This is the spring 2024 edition, and the new Pulse Magazine coming out very soon. So make sure you keep your eye on the where you get your periodicals here on campus for the upcoming new edition of Pulse Magazine. But this is a poem titled The Planetary Wanderer by Sergio Cuellar. Planets forming, tiny things growing bigger and bigger. Time passes, big planets now. I'm a rogue dwarf from a distant system, joining late, different in composition. Just a small planet in retrograde elliptical, orbiting around the warmth the others share. Coming and going, in and out, a stranger to a family alone. That's a poem titled The Planetary Wanderer by Sergio Cuellar, only on Vaquero Radio from Pulse Magazine, another fine production of UTRGV Student Media. We just got another few minutes left here in the studio until the top of the hour there. So let's get at least one more song in. How about some Talking Heads? I like the sound of that. This is Once in a Lifetime, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.